I started reading again. Hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome for the first time. If it's not your first time, welcome back. Okay, in today's video I'm going to be sharing a couple of books that got me into reading again. Before we get into that, I'm going to give you a backstory on my relationship with reading growing up. Growing up, I used to read almost any and everything that I saw. I would read the instructions on a cereal box, the ingredients, every single thing that was a word on that cereal box, I would read it. If we passed the building, I would, spell out the name or the word that I see. My mom noticed this, told my dad, and my dad started getting me books. So it felt like a monthly or bi-monthly thing when my dad would get me new books, ask me, okay, am I done with those books? And he would get me another one, he would get me another one. But unfortunately, the moment I entered senior secondary school, my love for books kind of reduced. At a point, I started reading this very 100 naira storybooks. If you're in Nigeria, you're very familiar with those 100 naira storybooks that men used to hawk around. In Nigeria, they hawk books. So they would, 100 naira, 100 naira. I was so happy to be able to, discover reading again. But I think I have known my taste in books from that very moment, because those books didn't really feel like what I wanted to feel because of the background I had in reading and the type of books I was exposed to. Gingerbread Man, so many books, all these Oyibo books, all these English, the fairy tales and stories. But yeah, those were the ones I was exposed to. When I was now reading all these 100 naira books, it just felt a bit like, okay, just felt a bit more simple. So back in 2021, I think I was in 300 or 200 level. Either I was entering either of those. We were still doing online classes and I discovered TikTok. So I didn't discover the book side of TikTok yet at that time. And I was like, you know what? Let me start reading again. So I decided to, get the books I already had, and I ordered some books from Bella Books. This is why Bella Books is so precious to me, because she has been a part of my reading journey ever since I decided to start reading again. So yeah, I ordered some books from Bella Books and that was how we started. And it's been 3 years, almost gonna be 3 years, because I started 2021 December. So yeah, it is kind of 3 years already of me reading again, and I am so happy to be on this side of the world. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you the books that I read during the 12 days reading challenge and how I feel about it. I don't think I ever gave a review of my books on TikTok. I only gave ratings, but I'm going to be sharing the books that got me to reading again, my favorites, and the ones I didn't really like. I feel like these books were the ones that kind of like defined my taste in books and the things I liked in books and the things I really didn't want to see in books anymore. But yeah, let's get into it. First book is Salt Lake Dreams, a 3-in-1 collection by Paige Winship Dooley. Okay, so there are 3 different books in this one collection and they follow 3 different characters. You can already see that it's my amateur tapping system. But yeah, this book is actually not for me. At the previous place that I used to live, there was a woman who had a store and her daughter got this as a prize. She saw that I liked reading and I decided to borrow it. It's been years now, like before I even entered uni, you guys. Before I entered uni, we moved into this place when I was still in GS3. So it's been a very long time. Like literally, it was presented to her in 2015 on prize giving day because she took first position. I don't think she read like that, but she decided to give it to me, and I didn't read this book until 2021. Crazy. Like I said, 3 different stories following 3 different women, romance novel, but they are actually Christian romance novels, and I've been trying to find something similar to this. I really loved this book when I read it. I wasn't so familiar with rating styles at the time that I read this book, so I feel like I don't have a rating, but if I'm going to rate all the stories, I'll say 4 stars or 4.5 stars. This was a really good read, and if you're a Christian and you would really like Christian romance, I would recommend this because it's 3-in-1, 3 different ladies, 3 different stories, and it's actually very good. Second book is actually a non-fiction book which I had been meaning to read for so long. I was like, you know what, since my books from Bella Books had not come, I was going to read any book I had in sight, and this was one of them. Who Moved My Cheese? I remember when I was doing my A-levels in 2018/2019, a friend of mine, or classmate of mine rather, talked about about this book and how amazing this book was, so I decided to get it. And I didn't read until 2021. Shame. Anyways, but this was a very, very nice book, very short and very simple, and it was so comfortable for me to do the reader and challenge, especially on a day where I had other things to do and we were still doing online classes. Being able to finish this so fast that I could easily quickly do my assignments and still join my online classes, it was very, very convenient. And I wouldn't say I think about this book from time to time, but I highly recommend this book if you're not a non-fiction type of person or you're not a reading type of person but you want to get into non-fiction books. This is a good recommendation because it's very short. You can easily get through it in a day or two, and it's something you can easily go back to from time to time. And it basically focuses on change and how we adapt to change, you know, how we navigate our ways and find our way through the changes in life. And yeah, it's a very good book. The next book that I'm going to talk about is actually not for my target audience. If I think about it very well, it wasn't even for my target audience at the time that I read it in 2021, but I think about this book every single time I see the main character, which is Black Beauty. I got this book in a random supermarket at the time that I was trying my best to start reading again. We had gone to the market on a, is it mall? I don't know, it's a supermarket. So I went with my mother and I saw that they had so many books. I had gotten other books with this one. I think this is a collection, it's a series, and I can't remember how much I got this book, but it was really, really cheap as at that time. But I was just so glad that I had another book to add to my collection. I was able to convince my mom to buy at that time. Still very young, but I didn't read until 2021. I wish I added the date I got this book in here. I only wrote Mavi's copy, but there is no date. I think I'm going to be doing that from now on so that, you know, that when my kids ask me, Mommy, what, I will just show them. I'll be like, oh, in 2024, 2023. This story is told from the point of view of a horse. You follow the horse's journey, you know, being ridden by people, sold and stuff like that. And it's just very interesting that someone would just sit down and try to imagine what goes on in the mind of a horse. And sometimes I do kind of like think that, does this animal really think this way, think that way? And it was very interesting to see that there was someone somewhere on this planet Earth that was also as curious as I am. But yeah, this was a very, very nice book and very easy to read. The fonts are big, as you can see, and it's hardcover. I have it in a hardcover, like, and it's light. It's not hardcover, but this one is hardcover, light hardcover. Such a very interesting and cute book. I would just applaud me for keeping my books neat. Can you ever? Let's move on now to one of the books that Bella actually delivered. I think I got this book before I even did my 21 days reading challenge. I got this book with Everything is Figure Outable. Yeah, I got it the previous year. Was it the previous year? At this point I can't remember if it was previous year or the year earlier, but I got With a Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I don't know, but this follows a story of a young lady who wants to become a chef and thinks she goes to culinary school, and yeah, you just follow her from there. What I really loved about this book was how short the chapters was. I feel like the books, I was just so blessed. The books that I had at the time that I started reading again, straight to the point, short books, you know, not so serious, not so dramatic. And I think that's one of the things that would really help you if you're trying to read again. Look for something light-hearted, you know, simple English, not so complex, maybe not too emotionally draining. And with time, you will now find out what you actually like in books and what you want to see more in books and what you don't want to see in books. But yeah, this is a very, very interesting read. It was very nice when I read it, and I think I read it in just one day. For someone who had just started reading again, I hadn't read in a very long time, that was very, very fast for me, and I enjoyed it. Also tapped as well. I think I've also read Clap When You Land by the same author. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed this one. The chapters were just very short and it was just straight to the point. And yeah, it was very interesting. I loved it. Next book is another non-fiction. I'm a Christian and I really, really enjoy reading Christian books, especially when they are written so well. And that is Good Girl, Gay God by Jack Hill Perry. Oh my goodness. Like I said before, I always wonder what is going on through the minds of animals. Not just animals, people. Like when people make certain decisions or decide to do certain things, I'm always sitting back and like, what is happening in their head? Like, how did they come up with this? How did they decide to do this? How did they conclude on this? You understand? If there's one superpower that I would love to have, is mind reading. Oh my god, as much as I really don't like knowing people's opinion about me, I would still want to read people's mind. And this just follows Jackie Hill Perry's journey from being gay to becoming a Christian and getting married, and it was just so beautiful to see. And her writing is just so amazing. amazing. Like, this made me fall in love with autobiographies, because I feel like autobiographies are kind of like telling your stories, and she wrote it really well. And for someone who was just starting to read again, it wasn't so complex. It was very easy for me to understand, very easy for me to flow through, and I highly recommend this book. Oh my goodness, one of the Christian books I would highly recommend to anybody out there. I did not even tap this book because I just wanted to preserve it the way it was. I could literally sell this book. But yeah, most of my books are like this. I'm not a very rough person. I'm not even rough at all. But that's by the way. But yeah, I would highly recommend, and my reading experience was beautiful, and it's a great book. I feel like this list would be incomplete if it doesn't have a touch of all the things I have interest in, and one of that is money. And that is why I read The Richest Man in Babylon. If you're just getting into a relationship or a good relationship with money and you want to know more about it, I highly recommend this book. This is The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. Highly recommend. You know nothing about money, you just want to learn about money. This right here, beautiful. This just talks about the richest man in Babylon, the things he does with his money, how he, you know, treats his money, his relationship with money. I feel like there are a lot of things that we can emulate as humans from here on how to manage money and how to treat money, you know, how to have a better relationship with money. Do you understand? I was already a money girly, you know, but reading this and now having better knowledge or deeper knowledge on how to treat my money just really helped me and changed my perspective. So yeah, I highly recommend. Okay, now we are on to the last two books. If you haven't liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, like this video, and if you like the vibe, you want to see more of me, subscribe, and also turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. If you've read any of the books I've spoken about so far, you can also leave a comment in the comment section or just have something sweet to say to me. I don't mind, say it. The next book on my list is Nearly All the Men in Lagos Are Mad, and when I tell you, take this title for exactly what it is. This is my very first collection of stories, and this has made me realize that I'm not a fan of collection of stories, but this was crazy. Oh my goodness, I can never forget the day I started reading this. I just finished an assignment, I sat down and I opened this book and I just started reading. The very first sentence, such a violation, crazy. I got this as at the time that everybody was raving about it. I just got it because it was yellow, and I got it and then I realized that everybody was raving about it. I also got this one from Bella Books, and look at how plain my book looks like I can literally sell it again. Ew, Yanito, you get. Well, what can I say? You always protect the things you love, right? It's just a collection of different women and the experiences with Lagos men. And when I tell you, as much as this is fiction, if someone walks up to me and say that some of these things or all of these things are real, I would 100% believe that person, because the kind of stories I've heard, I can never forget the day that I was on Snapchat and Snapchat just recommended a random story to me, and they were talking about the experiences with their ex. Oh my goodness, even from the guy's point of view, some Lagos men, crazy. This book, everything just kept going haywire. I wouldn't say I highly recommend this book because I don't know, but it's just entertaining and it was funny. Some stories are not funny. They were not funny at all. But yeah, I feel like there's some content that I wasn't so comfortable seeing, and there was no warning. It was okay. Do I recommend? I don't know. I don't think so. But it's up to you. If you decide to read it, it's up to you. Whatever you see, face it. Don't call me. I do not recommend it to you. I beg. Now to the last book on my list. I can remember reading this book, finishing it on the 12th day and rushing to my bathroom for a quiet place to record the voiceover on the 12th of reading every single day, because that challenge was not easy. But I eventually did it. And the last book is Get a Life by Chloe Brown. See, let me tell you something. When Bella sent this book, I just saw the cover and I ordered all three of the books by this author. It's not Chloe Brown, it's Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Can you imagine? So at the time I got it, that's what I want to explain. At the time I got it, I even thought that Chloe Brown was the author, and then I started seeing Talia Hibbert and I was like, what's going on? It was until I actually read it and then looked at this other two and I was like, okay, I get what you're saying now. It's three different sisters. This is the first sister, the following two for the two other sisters. And I feel like now that I've read a lot more romance novels, I now kind of understand where this is coming from, and now I understand tropes, I understand, I don't know, some slangs or whatever. But yeah, this was a 3-star read for me. I wouldn't say I didn't really enjoy it, but like I just started reading again, and when I tell you, I already explained and my experience growing up, I didn't read so many romance novels. I just read books, just storybook literature, normal books. And then getting into this was like, I think this was like my first romance book in all the books that I read. And then getting hit by some uncomfortable content, I'm gonna warn you. At first I was like, what's going on? Is this how people do here? I feel like I'm even going to do a video on culture shocks in books when I started reading again. Because growing up, I didn't read romance novels, fairy tales, literature, regular literature, like, how did they even put it? Literary fiction, exactly. That's what I read growing up. And then I was like, you know what, let me give a romance novel a chance. And I think I'm going to just stick with clean romance. This is not clean romance. There's some skip. I am very, very particular about my mind and what I put in. So yeah, there were some parts that I had to skip. I'm telling you beforehand, okay? So it was okay. Nothing too serious. Just to go create a list, find someone, and they complete the list together, I guess. I think so. I think that's what it's about. But yeah, this book was a 3 stars at the time that I read it. You can imagine it being a 3-star then. So right now I think it would still be a 3-star, but I feel like I was just so shocked to see something like that in a book, so it was just off for me. But finished it, but still had to skip, so it was okay. But yeah, that's it. Do I recommend? Because of some of the content in it, I don't think so, but if you want to read it, it's up to you. Whatever you find, it's you. Don't call my name, okay? Yeah. These are all the books that got me to reading again. Doing a 12 days reading challenge then was so good, and I'm starting to think maybe I should even do another one this year. Should I? I'll think about it. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you still want to see my face and enjoy my vibe. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss out any content, and leave a comment if you have something sweet to say. We want to talk about any of the books I talked about, and I'll see you in my next video. Love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.